All right, everybody, welcome.
Hey.
This is our second edition of the Critic Crew, but Dwayne, it is our first live show. Can you believe it? That's why we're like, everything is everywhere. But thank you guys so much for tuning in, first of all, and then for staying tuned in, because we are talking movies and TV today, and this is something that you don't want to miss. So first, I just want to give a shout out to My Pride Apparel, because I am rocking one of their sweatshirts for our Black History Month edition. And let me introduce, I would be so remiss if I didn't introduce my co-host, Dwayne, who is always knowledgeable.
That's right.
And always here ready to help, okay?
And my shirt is from forharriet.com.
All right, hey
Young,
now.
Black, and Dope. Turn up.
Okay.
So
we have a great show for you guys today. But before we get started, Dwayne, I really just want to make sure that I mention our music. So the music that you just heard is from Brian Austin, okay? And he is a musician out of Virginia. And you can go ahead and follow him on Instagram and all social media, I believe, at My Name Brian, okay?
Turn up. All right now. So also you can follow us on the social media on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook at The Critic Crew, TheCriticCrew.
Oh, that sounds so good.
It does. And we're going to start off by talking about, because it is Black History Month. Yesterday was the first day of Black History Month. We're talking about what are some black movies, like black classics that everyone needs to see. Which, by the way, when I reposted on my page, somebody did respond and say... they were saying, and this is a newer one, of course, but they were saying The Hate U Give, which I do assume is going to be like required viewing later. I didn't even
think about that.
I mean,
because we were talking, like when you say
like
that, you
classics,
think about
like the older
exactly.
But I mean, it's a very good. That's a very good suggestion, because that's definitely going to be required viewing sooner than later.
Exactly.
But let's go into, so I know you have yours.
Yes, so I have my top 5 favorite, and this is our question of the day. So we have our top 5 favorite or black movies that I feel that every person should see, every person of every color, every race, creed, background, whatever. So number 1, topping the list off, and they're not in any, particular order from my favorite to my worst, whatever. Yep. They're all in my top 5. So number 1, Do the Right Thing, of course, because I have to have Spike Lee in there, okay? Because you can't be talking about black movies without Spike Lee.
Academy Award nominee Spike
Lee now. Okay, excuse me. Right, how about that? And we're going to get into that in a little bit.
So go ahead.
But yeah, so I definitely have to have that in here. And besides the fact that it was such a star-studded performance, I think this movie came out in like 1988 or 89. So, it just gives you a sense of the time period and what's going on. And I just love it. It's absolutely captivating. We're talking about race relations and like lack of representation and intolerance, in the black community or whatever, and for people who do business in the black community. So I think that's definitely a powerful statement. If you haven't seen Do the Right Thing, then you must be sleeping under a rock.
It's a beautiful movie. Like visually, it's beautiful.
Exactly,
it's
like
gorgeous. The music is amazing.
It makes you feel like summertime. Like you can feel
you can feel the heat.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You can
Also,
feel
for those of you who haven't seen it, I mean, Do the Right Thing is definitely, I would say, like the Spike Lee like movie to see. If you haven't seen other Spike Lee movies, that's like his
definitely
his iconic,
right, his trademark, if you will.
Yeah.
One of the trademarks, because he has a ton of movies. Okay, number 2, and I actually brought this up to my family. I was about to say I accidentally, but I actually brought this up to my family. And I was like, hey, this is what I'm doing. Like, let me know what's going on. And they were like, okay, well, we think Coming to America.
I was going to say Coming to America.
So I said, okay. And so I'm sure we have different reasons, and I'm so curious to hear yours. But this is what they told me, because I was like, why? Like, I get it, but I don't really get it. And so they actually told me, because, they are older family members. They were just like, okay, so when this movie came out, this was the first movie that, number 1, showed Africa and African people as being a positive. Because, so often Africa is the negative connotation. We think third world, we can't go there. No, whatever. But no, they told me, they said, no, that when that movie came out, it also showed, black people being more than just thugs and pimps and, crooks and criminals and stuff like that. Like, we were black royalty. Right. Like, they came here and was like, this is how y'all live. Like, like they were looking down on that. So I love that kind of, like, flip side of it, if you will. You know, I really love that.
For sure. And also, it's just the comedy classic. It's
Eddie Murphy.
And I feel like every black family like quotes that all the time, and whether it's like she's your queen.
That's right. Just everything. Everything. You know. And I'm so excited for the second installment of that, but we're going to talk about that later.
Which, we'll see.
Okay, we will see.
It's been quite some time.
Okay, quite some time. So I don't know. We're a little iffy on it, but still staying super positive. So moving right along, my third black movie that I think everybody should see is Life.
Ooh.
Life. We're talking Eddie Murphy. Okay, I got a hand clap. I got hand claps in the studio, y'all. Okay, because Life and this movie, I love it so much. We're talking Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence, dynamic duo. I absolutely love them together. Hilarious all throughout. But this movie shines a light on the bigger picture that people are currently today still incarcerated, and they're completely innocent.
Right.
And, if you look at that movie, like, yeah, we were laughing and yeah, there were funny times, but they were in jail their whole life, okay? Yeah. And they were innocent. They didn't commit the murder, So if you haven't seen Life, please go see that movie because, it just really speaks volumes. And it's so relatable. Yeah. You might not, I feel like everybody at some point, knows somebody who has been locked up or, is currently incarcerated. So, it's just a slippery slope with the justice system. And, this movie just really speaks to that, which I love. So, moving right along, Remember the Titans.
Oh, I love that movie. Oh, my gosh.
We feel okay? Because, number one, I love me some Denzel. Number two, this movie was absolutely just moving. Yeah. I mean, it's so often that we see football movies and, all that, championships, the underdogs and stuff like that. But I feel like this movie just spoke to so many different areas of life and society at one time. And it just used football as the common thread to really just tie everything together. We're talking about bridging race relations between, just people like their teammates and then just, the greater society, and it's so beautiful to see how this team coming together on both sides of the ball and on, of life, actually.
Yeah.
It was beautiful to see them come together and then change their society, change their community, impact that. Yeah. So it's absolutely beautiful. I love it.
It also it shows the importance of like friendship between races specifically, because a lot of movies like that are, there's issues and then maybe at the end they're like, oh, you're not so bad. But I like the fact that Remember the Titans is like really about coming together.
Yes.
Like these people coming together. So
exactly. Cool. Yes. And so last but certainly not least for me, we have, and I know you're probably not going to, think about what I'm saying, but two can play that game.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Yeah, right? Okay, I get some claps for two can play that game. Okay, and I love this movie because it is super relatable, okay? I mean, how many women have been in a relationship or how many women have that friend that, just thinks they know it all when it comes to guys, and they give so much advice and everything like that. Oh, no, girl, they can easily see, the problems that you having with your man, but when they start having problems in their relationship, they're like, oh, no, they keep it hush-hush or, they try to deal with it personally. And, this is just a funny way of that. And then it's just beautiful to see how it plays out. I think this screenplay is just amazing. It's phenomenal. Okay. And I do believe the same guy who wrote it, I think he directed it too. So, he really was able to bring this vision to life and it just played out beautifully. It's hilarious. And it's star-studded, black cast, which I just absolutely love.
Yeah. I'm sorry to leave you out in the dark. I know what it is. I haven't seen it.
But you haven't seen it. Go see the movie, Dwayne. Come on now.
I have not. I don't know. The studio is rioting, y'all. But... cool. So
over to you, Dwayne.
Yeah, there were two that you said that were on mine. One of them was Do the Right Thing, of course. Another one was Coming to America, just like as a comedy classic. The first one I thought of though, when this question got asked about like black movies that everyone should see, first thing I thought of was Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
And for a lot of reasons.
Every reason.
It is, of course, like incredibly important. It shows not only what was going on at that time, but also like what's still going on in a lot of ways.
What goes on in the hood.
And the big thing, for those of you, well, if you haven't seen it, like see it. But also for those of you who have seen it, the Ricky scene. Ricky. But the thing is, like, that, you know, it's become this, like, iconic, you know, thing. But also, I mean, that moment is, like, it speaks volumes.
It was
like,
real.
It really speaks volumes to, you know, this young black guy who is trying to escape, you know, the sort of what has been laid out for him, and he ends up, well, I won't tell you.
Oh, right. How about that?
You gotta see
I feel like we kind of gave it away.
Right. So Do the Right Thing, Coming to America. What I just said, Boys in the Hood. Also, by the way, Boys in the Hood, John Singleton got nominated for Best Director, and he was the first black guy to be nominated for Best Director.
Okay, how about
that? Yes. By the way, the 91st Academy Awards are coming up, and still no black director has ever won. Anyway.
Been nominated.
Yeah.
But
so that's that. I have a really well, you said two can play that game, so I guess it's not as out of the box as that.
It's not.
But I have an out of the box choice, which is you remember Our Friend Martin? You remember that movie?
I don't know.
On like VHS. Some people remember it. So it's a movie. It is it's an animated movie. And I think like Oprah produced it or something like that. And it's about these two kids, this black guy and this white guy, who end up they visit Martin Luther King's like house, and they find this watch that allows them to go back in time and like meet him. And it is amazing because you see like the friendship between the two and how like they go back in time, and like the white guy's like, wait, like this is my friend, like everything's cool, and everyone's like, right. Dude, you know, so it's really good. It's okay. I mean, it's animated. It's, you know, it's for kids, but it's definitely something that I'm like, it's.
We can check that out, please.
Yeah, I mean,
love
it's awesome.
getting new things to watch.
It's awesome. And then just for variety's sake, and especially since our the first thing we had didn't air, we were talking about our favorite movies of 2018, and we had a dispute about Black Panther. And Black Panther is something that obviously it's not like a classic yet. I mean, it kind of is, but it's not like a classic yet.
I beg to differ.
Just because it just came out. But I think Black Panther, Academy Award nominee Black Panther.
Yes, I mean, congratulations.
I think
I'm happy.
Black
for the
Panther
culture.
is just like you were talking about Coming to America, showing black people in a different light, showing Africa in a different light. Black Panther is that really like times 20. It's like, yes, they're black royalty and everything, but they're also like super technologically advanced, and you know, there's conversations about, should we be helping other black people across the world? Should we keep this to ourselves? Should we allow other people in? It just works on so many levels, and I think that especially like once a couple years go past, is going to be something that black people will sort of regard as. I mean, everyone should, but you know, black people specifically,
no, definitely.
Regard as that.
I love
so
that.
those are my 5.
Well, thank you for your 5, and of course, audience, please join in on the conversation. Go to our Instagram page at The Critic Crew, and go ahead and tell us which black movies you think. Okay, everybody should see, all right? Because we are curious to hear from you. And so now we're going to move right along into what you missed.
Yep. All right, so what you missed, it is February 2nd, and so we're only 1 month into the year, which means normally January there's not a lot of stuff that comes out, and January is kind of known for, like, bad stuff coming out. But there was Escape Room. Escape Room was kind of the first like movie to come out this year. Mixed reviews. Just kind of a normal like horror thriller.
It actually got bad reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. Like, people didn't, you know, from like
mixed,
the audience.
Mixed was generous. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like
I know.
People, I mean,
but
I guess people enjoyed it.
It kind of sucked.
So there was that. There was The Kid Who Would Be King, which I haven't seen it yet, but I'm very excited about it. It's like this kid who sort of in modern times inherits like King Arthur's sword or whatever. And what I love about it is that the guy who directed it also directed this movie called Attack the Block. That stars John Boyega. Okay. And that was actually how J.J. Abrams cast him in Star Wars, was he saw him in this movie Attack the Block and was like, oh, like, this is pretty cool. You know, like, this is a great guy. So we have that director to thank for John Boyega's, well, I'm sure he would have made it anyway, but you know what I mean. So there's that. And then the biggest thing that came out in January was Glass, which is M. Night Shyamalan's weird like combination.
I know
thing.
it's a combination.
The funny thing was like when I saw Split, which was very very good.
It was intense.
When I saw Split, well, I mean, no one knew, but I didn't know that it turned out to be a sequel to Unbreakable.
Right.
And I hadn't seen Unbreakable at the time, so I went and saw Unbreakable, or went and watched Unbreakable. And Glass is another one that's getting mixed reviews, and Shyamalan's whole career has been like really, really mixed. Yeah. He is either completely hailed or he's like completely, you know. Which, like, I mean, trash. Some of that I don't think he deserves. Some of it he deserves. Did The Last Airbender. So some of it, you know what I'm saying? The Last
Airbender, that kind of did it for me.
But yeah, so Glass is getting mixed reviews. Just some people think that it's exactly what they've been waiting for. Unbreakable came out in 2000, you know, so some people have been waiting 19 years for an Unbreakable sequel. And other people think it's underwhelming, and, you know.
Yeah, it would have been.
I'm not like deeply invested, so I don't really have like you ruined my, you know, I don't have any of that. But yeah.
Okay, there's that. Yeah. So, I mean, Dwayne just told you what you missed back in January, but I am about to tell you which one of those movies kind of, you know, made the box office, and this is Box Office or Bust. Yay! Okay, so topping off the list, we're going to talk about Glass again because Glass is killing the game right now, coming in at $19.1 million, okay? And holding steady, yeah. Praise them. Praise him for the increase. Yes, coming in number 2.
For the increase.
So coming in at number 2 is The Upside. And I was kind of surprised at this because, I don't know, yes. Kevin Hart, he's not my favorite guy right now. He's, okay, we're not getting no claps, okay? Producer said we're not clapping on that one. So The Upside is, you know, the jury's still out for that one. Right. But it is coming in second place, holding a whopping $12.3 million, okay? So, I mean, it's still, you know, up there fairly.
Yeah.
And then number 3, which shouldn't be a shocker, it's Aquaman, okay? Aquaman has come out in December, like the middle of December, awesome. And it was awesome. If you haven't seen Aquaman, then you need to get your life together.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
But like in the best way.
Oh, I mean, absolutely amazing.
One of the things that everyone keeps talking about is like there are if you needed anything to sell you on this movie, there are octopi playing drums and people riding seahorses.
Right, okay.
So if that doesn't get you in, I don't know what to tell you.
And then just Atlantis, you know, in general, okay? It's absolutely beautiful. And then we finally get the backstory of it. Yeah, so if you haven't seen Aquaman, go see it because it's still killing it at the box office, holding down a $7.5 million, okay? So, I mean, it's still holding pretty exact and counting because this is only as relevant as, you know, of the last weekend in January. So, that's that. And then we have The Kid Who Would Be King coming in at number 4 with $7.3 million. So literally just trailing behind Aquaman, okay? So I feel like that should say a lot. You know, that should say a lot. And kind of, you know, the synopsis that you gave makes me want to go see it. I'm like, okay, maybe I should check out what this kid's doing.
As soon as I saw the trailer, I didn't know anything about it. And as soon as I saw the trailer and he's like, I think it's Excalibur, I was like, I can't wait. I really can't wait.
And then, I have one more. Mm-hmm. So just finishing off the list, it's actually Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Oh, yeah.
Which came out, I think, early December. Academy Award nominee. So there you have it. It is still holding it down. So that's actually making me want to go check it out. Because I haven't seen it because I told you, I don't like too many Spider-Mans. I have a problem when, you know, they don't keep the characters consistent sometimes. You know, I like the other guy. What's his name?
Which one?
Is it Tobey Maguire or something?
Tobey was the first one.
Okay, yeah, I like him.
And then it was Andrew Garfield.
Yeah, I like him. I don't like him.
And now it's Tom Holland.
No, I don't like any of the other
But
ones.
Into the Spider-Verse is animated. Like, it's not even,
I know,
it has nothing to do with the rest
still,
of them.
It doesn't? Okay, so I'm going to give it a shot. But, you know, that's it for Box Office or Bust, okay? So now we have some industry insights finally because it's award season, Dwayne.
Got you.
Afterwards.
All right.
Yep.
All right. You see this
okay, we got the nonverbal cues going on over here.
Telepathy. All right. So industry insights. Normally, I would be talking about different things that were going on in the business, which there are plenty of things. But the biggest thing is that the Oscar nominations came out, and we were texting that morning. We're like, like this happened and this didn't happen, and you know that kind of stuff. So I'll just give you the highlights if you hadn't seen. As we mentioned before, Black Panther has become the first superhero movie to be nominated for Best Picture. Controversial choice. Some people think like, oh, it's not even that good, or like it's not even the best Marvel movie that came out this year.
Like me.
Okay, but
that's me.
But
Avengers.
I mean, no, yes, but again, you know, you have to think about the way that like we were talking about how it works on these different layers of a movie, and how it works as a political thriller, and it works as a superhero movie, and it works as an action movie, and all that. So I'm very happy about it. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was nominated, which is also a pretty big deal for. I mean, it was the animated category, which is generally a little looser.
Yeah.
But still, it's the front runner to win, which is something we didn't think we were going to be saying.
Right.
There were some big surprises, specifically with. Everyone was talking about Bradley Cooper for A Star Is Born and his direction.
Yeah.
He was nominated for Best Actor, and I think he has a very good chance of winning.
Okay.
But for directing, as soon as that movie came out, you know how it was like this huge phenomenon.
Yeah.
People kept saying like, "Oh my God, it's like one of the best, like one of the best directorial debuts I've ever seen." So when he wasn't nominated, that was shocking.
Yeah.
Also, A Star Is Born is nominated for a whole bunch of stuff, including Best Original Song for Shallow.
Oh, good. No, because the music was good. I saw it. It was beautiful.
The only reason I say that is because literally nothing else will win. Like literally, like that's the one category you can put money. You can put money on it. Nothing else is gonna win. I mean, it's the truth. So that's that. There was not a lot of love for First Man. The movie about Neil Armstrong, which I didn't really enjoy that much personally, but people were surprised, you know, because it's awards bait for real. And the director wasn't even nominated. The director's last movie was La La Land, which he definitely won Best Director for.
Okay, yeah. With that whole mix-up, remember that year?
That was hilarious. Were you watching that live?
I was like, no.
No, I legit was like, what's happening? For those of you who don't know what we're talking about when Best Picture was given to La La Land, but it actually went to Moonlight, and then they had to have this whole awkward moment. And then Jay-Z made a song about it. He actually did. It's called Moonlight. The biggest front runners this year are Roma, which is on Netflix, by the way. If you want to watch it, it's a black and white foreign language film. It's in Spanish. The director is Alfonso Cuarón, who wrote. He did Gravity. His last movie was Gravity, and he won Best Director for that.
Yeah, he deserved that. Goodness.
Totally deserved it. He also directed, by the way, fun fact: Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Okay. Getting in on that. All right, we're doing it all.
So Roma is like it's one of those very beautiful, very slow, but very beautiful, just kind of slice of life movies. You know those movies that are just like, you're just watching like, oh, look at the beauty of normal life. So it's that. So Roma is a big one. A Star Is Born is kind of starting to lose steam in the awards category, but
it was so good. So please go see that.
And Green Book, which I have a lot of issues with, and I don't think we have a lot of time to get into it. But but I will say, since this is the Black History show,
okay, talk about it
real quick. So Green Book is the movie with Mahershala Ali and Viggo Mortensen, and it's about this friendship, this real friendship, these real people between this musician Don Shirley and Tony Vallelonga. I know it's spelled like that. I don't know if that's how they say it. And so the movie came out, and it's getting amazing reviews, and it's winning all these awards. But it turns out that, well, not it turns out, they knew what they were doing. But the one of the writers of the movie is the son of Viggo Mortensen's character, so the son of the white guy. And Don Shirley's family said that they didn't ask them anything. They didn't talk to them or anything. So basically this is... You know, these
is that based on true events?
Yeah, but I mean, what's upsetting about it is, you know, it's a white director, it's white writers, and even though it's about these two people, the only people consulted and the only point of view represented is the white guys, which is, for me, I'm not like about that. So I saw everything that was nominated except for Green Book, because I'm sure if I see it, I'll like it. You know, everyone keeps saying like, oh, it just makes you feel so good, but I don't want that if that's what that is. Right. So I'm not rooting for Green Book, but it has a very good shot. And the last thing, I'm moving on, I promise. But the last big conversation is the Best Actress conversation, which is always a big conversation. But the reason it's a big conversation is because Glenn Close is nominated for this movie called The Wife, which literally no one saw. I saw
including
it,
me.
Well, I watched it a couple days ago just
because of that. Yeah.
But Glenn Close, for those of you who don't, I mean, everyone knows, but you don't know, you know. She is, Fatal Attraction. She, for our generation, she was Cruella de Vil in the live action 101 Dalmatians.
The best one.
Yeah. So she's an incredible actress, but the big story is that she's been nominated. I want to say this is her 7th nomination, but I know she has at least 6 nominations. Never won.
Wow.
She's I don't want to represent her age, but she's older.
Okay.
She's been around for a very long time and she's never won an Oscar. So in any other year it would be like, this is Glenn Close's year, but then came Lady Gaga for A Star Is Born, who the Academy loves a story.
Giving her a run for her money.
The Academy loves a moment of, like, Lady Gaga, come up here and accept your Oscar.
Yes.
So this whole award season, it's been between them two, and we'll see what happens. I think it might go to Glenn. Just, because, come on now.
They should. They've been giving them, let's just be real, they've been giving Oscars out, okay, in the past. Yeah. They gave one to Leonardo. Because all of the movies that he's been in, and The Revenant.
Yeah. The Oscars have a consolation prize for sure, where they're just like, hey, sorry,
Call a spade
sorry
a spade.
we didn't give you this, so we're going to give it to you this year.
Right.
The funniest thing to me, though, about it is that the whole thing about, like, the singer being nominated for an Oscar.
Right.
In the 80s, Cher won Best Actress for a movie called Moonstruck, which is a romantic comedy, which is kind of weird that she would win the Oscar for it. But guess who she beat?
Who?
Glenn Close.
Oh, God.
So if Glenn Close loses to Lady Gaga, I can't imagine. I'm sure. She's a very gracious person, but I know somewhere somebody gonna get cursed out.
Okay.
Is all I know.
Because at some point you have to take that to heart. You're like, wait a minute, no.
I'm rooting for her. Is all I can really say. So we are going to take a break, and during this break, you are going to hear a minute of music. Which we will tell you all the details about it when we return.
Yes.
But we hope you're enjoying the show and be back with us.
Yeah. No, but...
No, yeah, we're talking,
yeah, you don't know what we're talking about.
All right. Hello, welcome back to the show, The Critic Crew. That was a minute of music with our theme song, I guess, by Brian Austin, as we talked about before. So we are going to get into what is coming soon, since we talked about what has come out already.
Yes. And so before we do, I really just want you guys to send in your music for our segment, okay? Because I know everybody knows somebody who wants to be a rapper, who wants to make beats, who
Especially
wants to be a singer.
Area,
okay, you guys are a dime a dozen. You know, we love you, but you are a dime a dozen. So I need one of those dozen to come and send in some music so that we can feature you on our show and blow you up and send everybody to your social media pages so that they can follow you and enjoy your music as well.
Indeed.
So let's get into coming soon.
Coming
baby.
soon. Bam, bam, bam.
All right. So we have a whole bunch of movies coming in February. I'm excited,
That's
but
right.
I feel like
Because we got January out of
it's
the
like
way.
right, we got January out of the way. Ugh. But now I feel like, I don't know, it's like 50-50, okay? It's like some movies you really want to go out, but then other movies I feel like they're going to flop. But I'm just going to tell you what I have, okay? So I just picked out, you know, a few movies that I just want to highlight, right?
And remember, there was one I fought for.
Yes,
to
you
be
did.
mentioned.
I mean, you didn't have to fight that hard.
Okay.
But, you know,
No, she did. I did.
I put it in there.
She
Whatever.
was like, you're right.
Whatever. So, yeah. So, starting off with thrillers, we have The Prodigy.
Oh.
And
what
this
is that?
one, this is that demon
with,
child.
What do they call What's his name? Something's wrong with Miles.
Oh, my God.
It's
is
like
it Miles?
Something's wrong with Miles.
Yeah, I think his name is Miles.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
It's all over there, like, on their Facebook page.
No, they didn't.
No, on their Facebook page. They had, like, a poster, and literally every comment, they would reply and be like, something's wrong with Miles. Like, just to, like, make people excited. It was hilarious.
But you know what? I do feel like this movie is going to be so good because it's been a minute since we've seen, you know, a really creepy kid just come and just take over, okay? Mm-hmm. So this kid is basically, like, so smart that he's, like, either crazy or possessed or some kind of how it just goes left, okay? So I love it. I'm here for it. You know, I love The Sixth Sense. Okay.
Ooh.
I'm all here for creepy kids, you know, seeing dead people and, you know, being weird. I love it. So moving right along, but still in the same vein for thrillers, we have Happy Death Day to You.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay, and I'm excited about this one.
Happy Death Day was a surprise, like, hit, because I thought it was gonna suck.
Okay.
Like, it looked awful.
Because we've seen it before.
Yeah,
you know?
but well, we thought we had seen it before, but then if you see the movie, it's like...
Right, and so I saw the trailer, and I was like, okay. So I was getting a little, what do I have down here? I got a little, like, The Edge of Tomorrow mixed with, like, Before I Fall.
Groundhog Day.
Yeah, Groundhog Day. You know, we've seen that storyline, if you will, you know, a bunch of times, but I feel like they're gonna take it somewhere.
The crazy thing, though,
I'm here for it.
The crazy thing about Happy Death Day to You is that, you know, of course, it's a sequel to Happy Death Day, which was I think 2017 at this point. But Happy Death Day is about she keeps reliving the same day over and over again, and she keeps dying, and every time somebody kills her, she wakes up in the same day. So she's trying to figure out who killed her and whatever. The crazy thing about this sequel is that she's waking up in the same day. It's not like she's waking up like, oh, there's a whole new loop. It's like she's waking up in the same day that she was waking up in the first movie, which I think is hilarious.
Yes, it's crazy.
So we'll see how they spin that. I hope it's gonna be good.
But I'm excited for it. Okay, so guys, you know, if you got, and I think it's kind of weird that they're like pulling out a lot of thrillers, and you know it was a lot of other thrillers on this list too, but I just picked those two. But it's a lot of scary movies coming out in February.
It's pretty normal for
is it? I feel
for
like
like
it's a
trashy
lot.
horror movies to come out.
Well, I guess we'll be the
months.
judge of that.
Yeah, we'll see.
So moving right along, we have a drama/horror movie which is called The Turning, and this is basically a woman who travels to the countryside of Maine to take care of like two orphans who live in a haunted house. So this might be a flop, but just because I mean, come on. It's like, we've seen that so many times. Haunting on Hill House. Yeah. I mean, like, come on. I mean, gosh, and the Haunting of flipping Hill House took forever just for me to get it. And I'm just like, dude, it's so much, right? So moving on. Let's you know, lighten the mood, okay, with some comedies, okay? So the Lego Movie, and this is the one that Dwayne was fighting for. But he really didn't have to fight that hard because I love the Lego Movie. This movie's awesome.
The Lego Movie was my second favorite movie of 2014. Because y'all know I'm a ranker.
That's real.
You know I'm a ranker. So my first favorite movie of 2014 was Gone Girl. But Lego Movie was... I always tell people that when they announced they were doing it, it just sounded like, why? Like, it sounded like such a money grab.
Okay.
It sounded like it was just a corporate
Right.
product. But man, I was from literally like the first maybe 2 minutes, I was like dying laughing. Like, I was like weak. Because
and you're an adult.
Yeah,
person,
that's my main point. Is like it's adult level humor without being
It's
adult.
awesome.
You know what I mean? Like, anyone can enjoy it. So I hope that the sequel.
I know
lives
it
up to
will
it.
because, in that, from this is just the continuation of the one from 2014. But in between that time, we've had the Lego Ninjago, then Lego Batman, which everybody loves. Like, go check out these characters. It's not just for the kids. It is for you.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I was cracking up myself. And I'm just so blown away by just the intricacies of the animation.
I mean,
it's like, are you kidding me? Do you honestly, just for a regular animation, it takes so long, to design the characters, get the movie and get it up, get a storyboard going.
Yeah.
And then it's just to see that replicated in a Lego way. It's beautiful. Because you can't think of childhood without thinking about Legos. That's...
And also, if there's if anyone hasn't seen the Lego Movie and isn't aware of the type of comedy it is, this movie is called the Lego Movie 2, the second part.
The second part.
That's what they call it. Like,
okay.
that's how dumb it is. Also, that literally comes out this weekend. Like,
yes.
Comes out.
Well, was that the 8th? This Friday?
I have no idea.
Next Friday,
We're not
right?
in that. That's not our field.
You're right.
We don't know.
We don't have to keep the
calendars.
calendar. But moving right along to another comedy, What Men Want. And this is the one with Taraji, okay?
Yes.
So I'm here for it, okay? Because we had Think Like a Man. We had Think Like a Man 2 or something like that. Think Like a Man also, whatever. But we have...
Think Like a Man as well.
As well. But now we have What Men Want. And I love this. Even though we kind of have seen this storyline too, but I love it. I think it's fresh. Yeah.
It's a remake of a movie called What Women Want from the 90s with Mel Gibson, who back before he was crazy and racist. But he...
was there before?
True. Back before we knew.
Okay.
But yeah, it's the same plot of somebody finding out, being able to hear the thoughts of the opposite sex.
Yeah.
What's cool about making it Taraji, though, is that one... It becomes a woman, and so there's an extra layer of sort of social relevance to it. And then also it's a black woman.
Exactly.
And it's Taraji. And Taraji, even though we know she's really funny, she hasn't really had a lot of comedic leads.
Yeah. She's been funny in her roles, but her roles haven't been strictly
comedy.
Yeah.
So this is exciting.
So I am so excited to see her there. I love me some Taraji. I think she just got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Highly
so
deserved.
claps to that.
Highly
okay,
deserved.
Highly deserved. It's about time, because she has just been working, working hard, over the years. So we love her for that, and I can't wait to see it. So the next one I'm going to highlight is Fighting with My Family. And I'm not sure because I haven't really seen the trailers too much on TV, but it is out there, and this is a wrestling movie. Okay, so we have The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, who
playing
is now
himself.
Playing himself, but as a mentor kind of to this wrestling family and these kids from this brother and sister from this wrestling family that want to go pro in the WWE. So I think that's beautiful. I think it's been a minute since we've seen a wrestling movie. We have Glow on Netflix, which is awesome if you haven't seen it, but now we haven't really seen just full out, co-ed wrestling, what that looks like to climb to the top, what goes on behind the scenes,
Yeah.
So I really, really love that, and I'm excited for it too. And then of course we have Isn't It Romantic with Rebel Wilson, which is going to be so funny.
Yeah,
so February, I guess, is just going to be all about being scared and being, happy and laughing.
Screaming and laughing.
Screaming and laughing. There you go. We're going to be screaming and laughing all through February.
That's
so
February
I'm here for it, but you know what? That's what's coming soon.
All right, so we're going to talk about streaming real quick, and what's streaming in terms of original content and also just things that you can watch, if you want to. My big thing when we were talking about this was it's not a streaming original, but it's something that you can stream on Fox if you have it. On Sunday, and for those of you who don't know, well, y'all don't know me. I'm a musical theater geek. Like that's what I do. And so on Sunday, Rent Live happened. A live production of Rent, the musical from the 90s. Jonathan Larson's musical about people in New York who are living with AIDS and things like that. But it was crazy because it actually, the majority of it was not live. What happened was, the lead actor, the guy who plays Roger, well, he's one of the leads. The guy who plays Roger, he broke his foot in dress rehearsal, which was the night before. So what Fox decided to do, which was a controversial choice specifically among theater fans, was they decided to basically air the dress rehearsal from the night before and then go live in like the last 15 minutes. So he's sitting here in his wheelchair and everything. Which is fine, but I just think a lot of people were thinking that, okay, show must go on, like just, figure it out. And Fox was like, no, we're going to play the last one.
Right.
Which was what it was. It was pretty good though. I mean, it depends on who you ask. The theater people hated it. Like theater Twitter was like, no ma'am.
Right. Because, that's because in the past we've had, The Wiz was good.
Oh yeah, they've been.
But Hairspray, and that was Hairspray is one of my favorite musicals.
Grease.
And
I thought Grease was
terrible.
I thought Grease was okay.
Hairspray was terrible.
Yeah, Hairspray wasn't good.
I was like, what is wrong with you? So that's why I wasn't too hype about Rent, because I was like, oh God, here we go. And of course it was some, BS in there anyway. So
but I mean,
right.
It had a great cast. Jordan Fisher from I don't know, he's in a lot of stuff, but Jordan Fisher was in it. Tinashe was in it, playing Mimi.
Mario, I believe.
Mario, he killed. I was like, okay, Mario.
It's Mario. He hasn't been out in a while, so he is.
Exactly. No, literally, I was telling my friend, like, he's like, I'm here to stay.
Okay,
like,
he
remember
said,
me.
Book me.
Remember me. You should let me love you. And also, for anyone who watches Drag Race, you watch Drag Race? RuPaul's Drag Race?
Yes, with RuPaul.
Yeah. So Valentina played Angel after. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I was going to give a spoiler for All Stars. Anyway,
do that.
so it's a very good. It was a very good. I thought it was a very good show. It depends on who you ask. Check it out for yourself. Anyway.
Yeah, check it out for yourself, and you decide and tell us, okay, what you think.
Anyway, something that I forgot to mention in my What You Missed segment, which is fine because it's also streaming, is there are 2 dueling documentaries about the Fire Festival that are blowing up. Everyone's talking about them. So Netflix has a documentary about it, and Hulu has a documentary about it. Now, I don't know if you remember, but the Fire Festival was that thing where they were like, it's going to be the biggest music festival ever. It's going to be on this island. All these rich people are going to be here. All these models are going to be here. And then people went, and they low-key didn't have anything prepared. And they were like, they had people in tents when they said they were going to be in villas. So was it kind of like
a scammy, or was it like going to happen?
Even after watching, because I watched the Netflix documentary, and even after watching it, I'm told you're supposed to watch both, but I've only seen the Netflix one so far. I couldn't really figure out if it was like a scam or if it was like we just didn't have as much as we thought we did.
Right, okay.
Because it seemed like they were really planning on doing it. It's just stuff fell apart, and they by the time they realized that it wasn't able to be saved, it was too late. Like, people were on their way. People had flights booked. So it was a huge mess. But the guy who, like, created the festival has scammed people in the past. Like, he's like a scammer. That's what he does. And now I don't know if he's going. I think he's going to jail. I don't know if he's in there right now.
He's going. He's en route.
As long as he should be.
That cell has his name or his number, rather.
But Fire Festival has been all over social media. The documentary's been all over social media. Specifically the story about Andy King, which I won't tell you right now, but if you've seen the documentary, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And you'll know when you watch it. Okay.
That I will.
That's happening. You were talking about Series of Unfortunate Events.
Yes.
Season 3.
Yes. Don't call it a comeback, because your favorite shows are just coming back. But that was a great.
I totally forgot
that. Lead-in.
Look, that was a smooth segue. That was
so awesome, though. Y'all like how we did that? That was excellent. They didn't even know Dwayne. Okay.
I didn't even know.
You know what?
All right.
But yeah, so don't call it a comeback, because your shows are just coming back. Okay. Yep. Right after winter break, a lot of shows went off. They said, okay, hold on, we're going to be back sometime in January or whatever. Right. So I picked a few, a handful of shows that I'm just going to talk about or whatever, overview really quickly. But yeah, so we do have a series of unfortunate events, and I love.
Look away.
I
hate
love
that theme
this.
song
I know
so
that.
much.
No, it's so.
I hate
It's like
it.
eerie.
No, I just hate it.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Well,
like it.
it's eerie for me.
Yeah.
It just rubs me the wrong way.
But
I
the
have
show
to.
is amazing.
I always skip the intro.
It's an amazing
But
show.
yeah, the show is amazing. Neil Patrick Harris.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, does he have an Oscar? I mean,
he has a Tony.
he has a Tony. Okay, well, he needs more Tonys. Okay, he
Hedwig
needs
and
Oscar.
the
He needs
Angry
everything
Inch.
because he is that man. Like, are
He's
you kidding
amazing.
me? And it's like he just gives. You can tell that he gives 150,000%
To whatever he does.
everything he does, and I love that because it comes across so well.
Right.
And obviously, this story, you know, when I heard that Netflix was doing, you know, a series of unfortunate events, I was so excited because I love this story growing up. You know.
Do you like the movie? Because the movie's controversial. Like, some
Yeah.
people like it, some people don't.
I don't. I like the series.
I loved
much
the movie
better
when I was younger.
Yeah, when I was younger, because that's all we had.
Yeah.
But, you know, now that we have the series, I'm definitely going with that,
Yeah, like,
especially if we have Neil
that's
Patrick
my
Harris.
thing.
Like,
Yeah,
that's my guy.
yeah.
You know, but yeah, so I was super excited to know that they were, you know, redoing that. So that actually came out, like, the first week of January. So season 3 is up now, so please go check it out if you haven't, okay? It's definitely one for the whole family. Up next, we have Friends from College. And I don't know if you've checked this one out on Netflix.
I haven't seen that, but I know what it is.
Oh, it's so good. Yes. So season 2 is back, right?
Okay.
And it's been like a year or so like that or whatever. But this show is just so relatable. I don't want to get into like the details because it's going to give it away clearly.
Right.
But it's basically about this friend group from college. I think they graduated from Harvard together. And so, you know, like they're all in their, you know, respective careers and everything like that. But they're still having challenges like managing their friendships and managing other relations and things like that. So, you know, stuff starts to get muddled. But this is definitely like one that you should go check out.
Yeah.
I love this show. And we have
It's a stacked cast.
we have Keegan-Michael Key in this one. And, you know, I just love him in there because he's kind of like the wimp, but he's also like the funny guy. So it's awesome, you know, just to see it play out. Moving right along to one of my favorite shows on TV right now. It's actually Shameless. Okay, so Shameless is back for season 9. It took a little hiatus last year, but now it came back in January. So you can go ahead and finish up season 9 now on, what is it, Showtime.
Ian and Mickey forever.
And so one of my favorite things about that show is just the dialogue, okay? The dialogue is so natural and it's real. And it's like, I can see myself saying that to my family.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
Also, isn't this season like Emmy Rossum's last season?
Oh, I hope not.
Fiona's
I didn't hear
last
that.
season? She's leaving. I just don't know if it's this season.
Okay, so
or...
let me just tell you, Fiona is my favorite character. Okay, so I love her, and she is just up and down and everywhere,
mess.
and you know. But I love her because, you know, you just can't break her. You know, you can't break her spirit. Like, she's like, okay, shoot, people keep, you know, things keep happening.
Yeah.
People keep, you know, letting me down. But at the end of the
she's
day,
also,
I'm going to be something.
I mean, she has the weight of, at least from when I was watching, I haven't seen it recently, but she has the weight of like the whole family.
Exactly. You know, and
really.
she's had that, you know, because their
her whole
mom was
life.
crazy. Their dad is an alcoholic who would just walk out and walk in as he pleased, you know, so she had to raise her
As
brothers.
he does on the show.
As he does on the show and fall asleep wherever.
Right.
But Frank actually, his character was, not his character, but, you know, the guy who plays Frank on the show, I can't remember his name, but he was nominated.
William H.
He won.
Macy.
I think he won some type of award. I don't know if it was an Oscar.
Emmy, probably.
It was an Emmy, yes, it was. So, yeah, and he got that for, like, I think best lead role or something like that. Yeah. So, you know, it's on and popping, okay?
Yeah, the show's amazing.
Show's amazing. Show. So, just to finish that up, we have Future Man that is on Hulu.
Now
Okay.
this, I know what it is. I have not.
Oh my gosh. So a lot of people like just glance over that show on Hulu, as I did. But I watched episode 1, and from then on, I was hooked. Okay. This is beautiful. We have my main man from Hunger Games, Josh Hutcherson. Okay. He's the bomb.
Peter
okay.
Millard.
And it's kind of like that, you know, if you like the whole, you know, storyline of like Jumanji and stuff like that, the game coming to life, and all of a sudden you're in the game and, you know, you're fighting for your life and stuff like that, then you're going to love this, okay? Because the dialogue is there, the characters are there, the storyline is there, and you, like, so many things will just be happening. You're like, what is going on? But I just got to have it. I can't stop watching.
Right.
So please, please, please go check that out.
You know what I have to mention that works with both the streaming segment and the comeback segment is, because my brother would kill me, on the DC universe, they have an app like DC Comics. They have a streaming service now called DC Universe. And Young Justice, which is the show that it's basically like the Teen Titans, but they're like grown up.
Yeah.
it used to be on Cartoon Network, then it got canceled, and then fans like rallied behind it. Were like, no, like we love the show, like bring it back. And then they did. They put it on DC Universe. So now like this long-awaited season 3 of Young Justice is out, and apparently, because I didn't watch it. But apparently, for fans, like season 3 is huge and it's awesome and it's like, you know, it's everything they wanted. So
that's
if you have
real.
DC Universe or have like a couple dollars, I don't know.
Yes, right.
I mean, it's good.
It
It's good for it has all the shows from the past. It has Teen Titans, Batman the animated series. It has all the movies, of course. Like, you know, so.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So yeah, please go check that out.
Worth looking
guys.
into.
It's so worth it. Please.
Worth looking into.
So unfortunately, it's my least favorite part of the show. It's
Ciao.
time to go. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we just have a few announcements for you guys before we go. So our second show is going to be next month, March 2nd. Okay, to be exact. So that's like the first Saturday in March. Same time, same place, okay? So we will be right back here, and we will be on time for you all. Okay?
We'll
so,
see.
yes, join us right back here. And like I said, guys, if you know somebody who is making good music.
And we know you do.
We know you
We
do.
know you do.
Everybody knows somebody who's making music or trying to make it in the industry, if you will. But your clips need to be 1 minute long, and please email them to us at the Real Critic Crew at gmail.com, okay?
And that, clean.
Huh,
right?
Yes, clean version. Thank you for that.
I mean, at least the snippet.
Yes,
you know what I'm
the
saying?
snippet must be
Just at least
clean,
the
okay?
snippet, yeah,
Because
that you
we know you can curse, but
we know you can curse.
Just save that for your home life. All
That's
right?
right.
So yeah, Dwayne, you want to finish us off?
Yep. Social media. Again, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube at The Critic Crew. If you want to see, I believe today's full show will be on there, and all the subsequent shows that we do.
Definitely.
And please support us as we're growing. We hope to grow in terms of length. We hope to grow in terms of viewership and all kinds of stuff. So, if you like what we're doing, check us out. Also, special thanks to the Mix Station for housing us and helping us. Special thanks to Mr. Wilbur over here, who's on the soundboard. We thank you very much. Again, our music by Brian Austin. Thank you so much, man. And of course, for viewers like you, which is the little PBS button. Thank you, viewers and listeners. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We made it through our first live show.
Yes, we did.
Wow.
So I guess there's no stopping us, right?
Yeah, I guess we in this.
We can't go back.
Right. Thank you guys so much, so much for joining us. Happy Black History Month.
Yes, and we will see you next month, okay?
Yes.
Right here at 10 a.m. Bye.
Wakanda forever.